The agency responsible for helping our nation's heroes under fire tonight. Veterans Affairs Secretary Eric Shinseki set to appear before a House committee next week, and he is facing multiple calls to resign. Reports say officials are destroying veterans' documents and that they are directly responsible for dozens of veterans' deaths related to long delays at clinics. Here with the latest, Darin Selnick, advisor for Concerned Veterans for America. He was also the former special assistant to the VA's department's secretary. So you are in a good position to talk about this unbelievable issue. What we're talking about here, and I want you to detail it even more, 40 deaths of veterans. And we think the VA somehow helped this happen. What is going on? Describe in detail the problems, the fraud and abuse that is hurting our nation's heroes.
Well, what we're having in Phoenix, it is also coming up in places like Fort Collins, Austin, Texas, San Antonio, and around the country in other areas, is that veterans are sick, they're trying to make their appointments, and they think they're making appointments, but what's happening is those appointments are getting delayed for months and months and months. And meanwhile, the VA's, specifically Phoenix, has been deleting those records, keeping them in a secret list, and then only putting them in once they could get them 14 days so that their records look good.
Darin, why are they deleting the records? What's the point of deleting the records?
Well, if they don't delete the record out of the system and do a paper copy, then what will happen is the veterans will show up as actually being in the system for 4 or 5 months. They're supposed to only be in their system for 14 days to get their appointment. So they want to keep their numbers look good. They want to get their bonuses. So they take them out of the system and then only put them in the system once they're within the 14-day window. That way they're looking good. Meanwhile, veterans think they're in the system. They're not. They're waiting months. And I had this happen to a friend of mine in West L.A. By the time they're getting seen, they're having stages of cancer because they weren't seen 5, 6 months ago with like prostate problems, and then they're dying. And that is friendly fire, and that is unacceptable, and that must stop.
I completely agree with you. You make a very good point. Now, you worked in the VA. You're familiar with the players. Did you see this when you were there? It's been some time, but was there a lot of fraud and abuse? Was there this kind of problem?
No, there wasn't. I mean, I was just astounded when this happened because it's so against the culture. It's so against what everyone's brought up. Was there fraud and abuse in the VA? Yes. I mean, it's the largest healthcare system in the country. It's got over 300,000 employees. There's always a few people, bad apples, skimming off the top, you know, using money to buy sailboats and stuff like that. We had some bad computer systems.
That's different,
contractors. It totally is. But where the line was always drawn before was when it came to our veterans' health care. For them to play games with veterans' health care, something has happened in the last 4 or 5 years that has just pushed people over the line. The culture has just evaporated and broken Lincoln's promise to veterans.
Darin, is it Eric Shinseki's fault? Should he go? There are calls for his resignation tonight.
Well, I got to tell you, having worked for 3 secretaries, I'm the last to call for a secretary leave. But in this case, I have watched him closely the last 2 years, and every opportunity he has failed to act. He just doesn't seem to get it. I agree with Concerned Veterans for America. I agree with American Legion. He's got to go because he's not providing the leadership. Everything to him is a training issue. He's been inside and outside disengaged, uninterested, and only now, through a subpoena, is he actually willing to talk. He's got to go because he just doesn't get it. This isn't the military. You can't treat it the same way. And if you can't lead, you got to get out of the way. And in the military, you relieve bad commanders when they don't perform and loss of confidence. He's been a bad commander at the VA. He has an honorable record, but that just does not transfer to. He's got to go.
Darin, thank you for bringing us this story, and it's a sad one. We appreciate it.
It is.
And we'll be right back.